Welcome to Macmo Academy. In this video, we will learn ratio involving three quantities, that how to find out continued ratio. So if you will see that there are three quantities given, x ratio y is equal to 5 ratio 6 and y ratio z is equal to 4 ratio 9. So it means that three quantities has been given in this question, x ratio y, x, y and z. So these three quantities are involved in this problem. That's why it's called ratio involving three quantities. So how to find out continued ratio? So x ratio y ratio z, they are saying to find out their connection between them. So we cannot connect them directly together. For example, we cannot link them together like x ratio y ratio z is equal to 5 ratio 6 ratio 4 or 9. Why? Because over here the value of y is 6 and over here the value of y is 4. The ratio of y is 4. So it means that y is written first, so the corresponding ratio is 4 for y, and for z it's 9. And over here first x is written, so the corresponding value for x is 5 and corresponding value for y is 6. So these two values of y are not same in both the cases, so we cannot link them together. Why? So what shall I write over here for the corresponding value of y? Either 4 or 6. So in this way we cannot link them together directly. So there is a proper technique and there is a proper rule how to connect them together. So this is very simple technique. There is a very simple technique to connect them or to find out continued ratio between them. First of all, just write down both the ratios. X ratio y is equal to 5 ratio 6 and y ratio z is equal to 4 ratio 9. Now identify that what is the value of y, what is the common variable, what is the common quantity. So y is common in both of them, and the value of the corresponding ratio of y is 6 over here and the corresponding ratio of y is 4 over here. Now we need to make the value of y in both the ratios same. If we will be able to make the value of y same, so we can find out connection between them, we can find out continuation between them. How to make it same? By finding out LCM, least common multiple. So first of all, find out the LCM of 4 and 6 because these are the different values of y. Now let's start finding out the LCM. 2 times 1, 3 as it is, then 3 times 1, 1 as it is. Now we will see that what is the LCM. 4 3s are 12, so 12 is LCM. Now in order to make this 6 equals to 12, we will multiply 6 by 2. But according to maths, we need to multiply both parts by 2. So we will multiply both parts by 2. And in order to make 4 equals to 12, multiplying both parts by 3. 4 3s are 12. So in this way, what will happen? Now look at over here. If we multiply both parts over here by 2, 5 2s are 10, 6 2s are 12. Now y ratio z is equal to 4 3s are 12, 9 3s are 27. Now if you will see that the value of y in both the ratios has become equal. So y is 12 over here and y is 12 over here. Now we can connect them together in a continued form. X ratio y ratio z is equal to, so y I am writing over here with different marker in order to make it prominent. So now we can connect them together. The value of x we will write 10, the value of y we will write 12, and the value of z we will write from here. The corresponding value of z is 27. So it means that what will we write over here? 12. So the continued ratio x ratio y ratio z is equal to 10 ratio 12 ratio 27. Now just cross check once that either all these values are divisible by any common factor. If yes, so simplify it. If no, so this would be your final answer. It won't be simplify if you will be finding out LCM, least common multiple. So always the answer would be in the simplified form if you would be finding out least common multiple between them. So this was all about the first part. Now second part is we have to find out x ratio z. X ratio z is equal to, now we will pick the value of x and z from here, because if we will be picking from here, we cannot pick it from here because the value of y was not same in both the cases, because this is the connection between, y is the connector between both the quantities. So when the connector is equal, now we can connect x and z together. X is 10 and z is 27. So 10 ratio 27 you can take from here as well. X is 10, z is 27. Now again see whether they are simplifying by any common factor. If yes, then simplify. If not, so this is your final answer. So this is how we can find out continuate ratio. So this is also called continuate ratio between three quantities. So I hope you have understood this problem. Now let's proceed towards next problem. Now let's look at another problem where P, Q and R, three quantities has been given, P, Q and R. Now if you will see that P ratio Q is equal to 3/4 ratio 2 and P ratio R is equal to 1/3 ratio 1/2, and we need to find out again continued ratio between P, Q and R. Now the values are in fraction and whole number, so how to make them equal? First of all, find out the common connector or common quantity between them. Over here it's P and P is 3/4, and over here is P, it's 1/3. Now first of all, our first target is to make them or convert them into a whole number. How to convert them into a whole number? It's 2 means 2/1. So if we want to convert it into a whole number, we need to take the LCM, which is 4, multiply both parts by 4. So what would happen in this way? Now just see, if we multiply both parts by 4, so 4 ones are 4 ones are 3 ones are 3, ratio 2 fours are 8. Now in this way they has been converted or transformed into a whole number value. Similarly we will do over here, we will find out LCM, and LCM will be 6. Now multiply both parts by 6 to make them into, or to convert them into a whole number. 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 2 times 1, 2 times 3. So the final 2 ratio 3. Now it has been transformed into our previous question. Now we need to do the same. Now the value of P over here is 3 and the value of P over here is 2. Now again we need to take out LCM of both of these two values. Again LCM will be 6. So now we have to make 3 equals to 6. So in order to make 3 equals to 6, we need to multiply both parts by 2. And in order to make 2 equals to 6, we need to multiply both parts by 3. So if we will do this, the value of P will become same in both the ratios. So what would happen? 3 times 2 is 6, 8 times 2 is 16. So P ratio Q, P ratio R. So 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. So now if you will see that the value of P has become equal, now we can connect them into continued ratio. So I hope this is very interesting. So how can we find out continued ratio? Part 1, P ratio Q ratio R is equal to 6 ratio 16 ratio 9. So this is the final answer. Why? Because they all are not divisible by a common factor, single factor. Now second part, Q ratio R. So Q ratio R is equal to, the value of Q is second and the value of R would be third. So second and third, 16 ratio 9. Now again they both are not simplifying by any common factor. So this is the simplest and the final answer. Now let's look at the third type of question in which P ratio Q is given and P ratio R is given, and again we need to find out continued ratio. So now let's look at over here how to find it out. So over here the value of P is, the corresponding ratio of P is 0.3 and the corresponding ratio is of Q is 0.7. Now if the problem, if both the ratios are in decimal, so first of all we need to convert them into a whole number again, because we cannot make them same in decimal. So it would be easy to convert them into a whole number. So we will give preference to the maximum number of decimal places. Keep this thing in your mind. It has one decimal place, it has two decimal places. So we will analyze both of them very attentively, and by looking at maximum number of decimal places we will multiply both parts by 100. If we will multiply both parts by 100, so what would happen? Their decimal will go 2 times forward. Multiply by 100, 0.75 multiply by 100. So in this way this would become 30 and this would become 75. Now you can see they both have been transformed into a whole number. Now we will simplify them. 5 6 are 30 and 5 1s are 5, 2 will be carry, 5 15s are 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 5 is 15. Now this is the simplified value for P ratio Q. Now we will see over here, we will again look at the maximum number of decimal places, multiply by 100 with both parts. So it would be converted into 15 and this would become 810. So now what will happen? They both are divisible by 3. So 3 times 5 is 15. Achha, 3 2s are 6, 2 will be carried, 3 7s are 27 and 0 as it is. Now they both are not divisible by any common factor. Now we need to find out continued ratio between them. Now first of all we will see whether the value of P is same or not. Over here the value of P is 2 and over here the value of P is 5. Now if we will multiply 5 by 2, so it means that this will be converted into 10. And if we multiply, because LCM of 5 and 2 is 10, so do not forget to find out the LCM. We will find out LCM of 2 and 5, which will be 10. So 5 times 2 is 10 and 2 times 5 is 10. So we will multiply both parts by 5. So 2 5s are 10 and 5 5s are 25. And what would it become? P ratio Q is equal to 5 2s are 10 and 27 times 2 is 54. So 540. So 10 ratio 540. So if we will see that they both are divisible by 10, so 1 0 cancels out 1 0, 1 ratio 54, because they both were simplifying, that's why it has been simplified over here. I didn't notice over here. Now what would it become? 5 2s are 10, 5 5s are 25. But if you will see, if we will simplify them, so the value of P would not become same. So over here we won't simplify, if we will simplify, so the cos would be vanished. We have multiplied by 2 and 5 in order to make the value of P equal. So over here the value of P is 10 and over here the value of P is 10 over here. Now we can connect them into continued form. So now first part, P ratio Q ratio R is equal to, so first P is written, so the value of P is 10, then Q, which is 25, and then R, which is 540. Now we will see if they all are divisible by any common factor. Yes, they all are divisible by 5. So 5 times 2, 5 times 5, 5 times 10 is 50, 4 will be carried, 5 8s are 40. Now we will again see whether they all are divisible. No, this is the final and the simplified answer. Now second part, Q ratio R. Part 2, Q ratio R. So Q and R are written at the third place. So we will pick the simplified value. If we will pick the simplified value, so the answer would be simplified version. So there won't be any need to simplify it further. So this is how we can find out continued ratio involving three quantities. So this is all about today's class. I hope you have understood and liked the content. Do not forget to subscribe and like and share our YouTube channel. Thank you for your support.